Hi everyone, Hope King here from Elementary Shenanigans, and today I'm going to spend just a couple minutes giving you some tips that you can use as you go back into your classroom and prepare for a new year, especially with your setup. So I'm partnering with one of my dear friends, Erin Klein from Kleinspiration, and together we're going to be giving you 10 sensational setup ideas that you can implement right away as you're preparing for a new bunch of students this year. So let's go ahead and get started. Tip number 1, make your classroom relevant and personal to your students. So as many of you know, I work at a school called the Ron Clark Academy in Atlanta, Georgia. And when Kim and Ron were designing the school, they actually surveyed students and said, hey, what would you like to see in your school? If you could have anything you want, what would it be? And it's really kind of interesting because do you know what they said? Well, I'll give you a hint. They didn't say, oh, we would like to see really colorful bulletin boards, or we would like to see this poster, or we would like to see this decoration or that decoration. They said, you know what we would like to see? We would like to see pictures. Pictures of us, pictures of our friends, pictures of things, of moments, of special memories. Isn't that really cool? Because when you think about it, when you go to someone's house, you don't look around and see bulletin boards. You look around and you see pictures of their family members, pictures of special moments, pictures of memories that they've had together, and that's what they want in their house because it actually means something to them. Well, shouldn't our classrooms be the same way? Shouldn't our classrooms be a place that remind kids of special memories, of special moments, of special people? So what better way to do that than pictures? And here's the really great thing. Pictures don't have to cost a lot of money, and it's really easy decorations. Because what we've done at RCA, Kim and Ron just went out and purchased a lot of different picture frames, hung them all over the school, and it's really simple because now, every year, all you have to do is go in and update those pictures. You don't have to buy new decorations, new picture frames. You just wait until you get some pictures of your students and then you just replace the old with the new. Really, really simple. And it's really cool because my husband and I, when we visited RCA before we actually taught there, this was one of our biggest takebacks. We went back to our classroom and we looked around and we said, we need to incorporate pictures of our students. So we took pictures of them. Some of them were headshots, some of them were full body shots, and we just simply cut them out without the background. We laminated them and we put them all over our classroom for the kids to see. And when the kids came back in, you would not believe how excited they were to see their face rather than just random posters or random decorations, to see their faces on the wall. It's really motivating, it's really inspiring for the students, and they love to see one another's pictures. So that is tip number 1, an easy way to decorate your room, but making it meaningful and relevant for your students. Moving on to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is all about the VIP area. So who are your VIP students going to be in your classroom? I found this idea on Rachel Lamb, the tattoo teacher's blog, and I couldn't help but get really excited about it because I thought it was one of the best ideas that I've seen yet. And other teachers have also incorporated it, so I'm going to be sure to link you to their blogs at the end of this because you definitely want to check it out. So the VIP area is exactly what it sounds like. It's a special area in your classroom that you have set up, and it's different than any other area in your room because the kids that get to sit there get to enjoy special privileges. So you might have special chairs like you see in the pictures that I have, or you might have special writing utensils or pencils or crayons or stickers, or you might even have some special treats waiting on them when they actually get to be a part of the VIP table. I love this because it's a way that you, instead of focusing on the negative behaviors that are going on in your classroom, you can actually focus on the positive behaviors and reward those students who day in and day out are doing everything that's expected of them, are going above and beyond. I always love incorporating decorations that's going to take my students to another level. So it's not just about being a decoration, it's about being a way, kind of like I talked about earlier with the student pictures, a way to inspire them, encourage them, and really give them something to strive for. So make sure you check out these girls' blogs so that you can learn how they've done it. They've all done it different ways, and that's what I love about teaching. It's all about taking something and adapting it to make it work for your room. So I am am really excited about incorporating the VIP area of my classroom this year. I'm still thinking about ways to do that, so I'll make sure I post how I chose to take a spin on the VIP section and how I am going to encourage my students with a little bit of special area in my classroom. So I will make sure I link those blogs here at the end, so make sure you check them out, and who knows, maybe you'll have a VIP section in your classroom. Tip number 3. When I'm setting up my classroom, I really, like I've mentioned with the first two, want to think of ways that I can incorporate decorations that are not just decorations. So I do something in my classroom called Desire to Inspire. Kind of a little catchy title, but Desire to Inspire is exactly what it sounds like. It's having things around my room that can encourage and inspire my students to take what they're doing, take what they're learning to the next level. So what I did in my classroom, above my smartboard, I placed 12 of my favorite quotes, 12 quotes that I thought the students would understand and that I thought they could apply to everyday life. I know I like to see quotes when I'm having, one of those moments where I'm down and out or I'm just not feeling something, that I can read a quote and I'm like, you know what? That's right. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do this. It encourages me. It motivates me. So that's what I wanted to do for my students. So above my smartboard, I placed 12 quotes. But when my students walked in at the beginning of the year, they didn't see those quotes. They were actually all covered up with black construction paper. So inside the frame, I just slipped in a piece of black construction paper. Now, my frames weren't really expensive. I found these at Michael's, at Hobby Lobby when they had like a 40 or 50% off sale. I found some at Dollar Tree, and then I just spray painted them so they were really cool colors. So all the quotes were covered up by a piece of black construction paper. And what I would do every single month, I would reveal a new quote to my students. So during our morning meeting time, I would say, all right, y'all, today's the day. And they would get really, really excited. I would pull off the black piece of construction paper and together we would read the quote. I would even make them bracelets that I had that had the quote or a little section of the quote on that bracelet so they could wear it for that day to remember our quote for the month. And it was really a powerful time in our classroom because I told my kids, I said, you know what? I'm not just worried about what kind of student you are. I'm not worried about who you are from 8 to 2:30 when I see you. I'm worried about what kind of brother you are, what kind of sister you are, what kind of friend you are, what kind of son, what kind of daughter. I want you to be the person that I get to see in this classroom and how hard you work for me. I want to hear about you doing those things at home. So Desire to Inspire was a way that we read a quote and then we would think about, how could this inspire us in our everyday life? How could we apply these words of wisdom or this life lesson into our classroom, into our work ethic, into our behavior, into our home life? And the kids would talk about it together and they would journal about it. And y'all, it's amazing. I started this in first grade. Even at a first grade level, what those kids were able to drum up, what they were able to think about, what they were able to connect to. It's a great higher level activity. And again, it wasn't just a decoration. It was something that was a symbol for how can I push myself a little bit harder? How can I work harder today? How can I be a better friend today? So it was something that reminded them of life lessons that we've talked about as we're trying to grow academically as students, but also as human beings. So Desire to Inspire was a way that I did that with my students. Again, we revealed a quote every single month. And buddy, if I forgot, those kids were quick to remind me, Mrs. King, we haven't done our quote for this month. They loved those. I would hear them talking about them on the playground, in the cafeteria. So I definitely know that they worked. They inspired the kids. And again, as I've said before, it was something that had a purpose. It wasn't just a cutesy decoration. So that is tip number 3. As you're setting up your classrooms, it's all about literature. So as you know, I'm a reading teacher, so obviously I have to throw literature in here, but I have a good point. It's really interesting to me when I walk into social studies classrooms or science classrooms, and I don't see a book anywhere in sight unless it's a textbook. Here's the thing. As teachers, we have to, yes, teach our students and give them the foundation, but we also have to encourage them to take control of their learning and take it to the next level. So if we want students to take something that we've taught them and deepen their understanding or learn something new or research it further, we have to have the reading materials available for them to use. So I think it's really important that regardless of what content area you teach, I like to say that everyone's a reading teacher, and it's true, you've got to have those materials in your classroom that's going to inspire your kids and encourage them, because if you have that content and if you teach it in such a way that they can't wait to get their hands on more information about it, they're going to be using those resources in your room. I had books all over my room. Even though I know I taught third grade and that was part of my curriculum, part of my content, I had books, and I purposely selected books that I knew I would be teaching that content because the kids were always really excited. What else can we learn? I want to learn more. So as a teacher, we have to model that for them. And so we definitely need to have literature readily available for our students so they can get their hands on it and get excited about furthering their knowledge. And then finally, tip number 5 before I let you go is all about creating a clutter-free space. I know this is one of the hardest things that we have to do as teachers because we collect so much stuff in our classrooms. But here's the thing. If we want to promote success with our students, our space has to be clutter-free. When things are all over the place and they're unorganized, that doesn't promote organization, and organization is a key skill that you have to have in order to become successful later on. So we've got to model for our students how to have a clear space, how to keep things organized, how to keep your notebooks nice and neat. Well, we have to practice what we preach. We can't sit here and tell them to do that if our classroom is looking like a hot mess. So we have to make sure that as teachers we try really hard to give things away. Give things to new teachers in your building, teachers that don't have things. My philosophy was, it might be a bad philosophy, but it was always, if I haven't used it in a year or two, I might as well give it to someone who will use it, because I would have so much stuff that I didn't even know what I had, and so nothing got put to use. So I would make sure that every 6 months or so I was trying to clean things out and share them and give them to other people, because I knew that I would find other things that I would want to use to kind of spruce things up a little bit or make things a little bit different. So we have to try really hard to get rid of that clutter and keep it a nice, clean, neat, organized working environment, and really model that for our students so that they can catch on to that and become successful later on because they are really, really organized and really clean and neat with their materials. All right, everyone, so those are my 5 sensational setup tips and suggestions as you're heading back to school this year. So be sure and go check out Erin at Kleinspiration to check out her 5 tips, and together you'll have your 10 sensational setup ideas for the school year. I hope that you were able to pull some tips or tricks or ideas that you can incorporate into your classroom. Be sure and come back to my blog and visit me at www.elementaryShenanigans.com because I've got lots of back-to-school activities and things that I'm going to be doing with my students and things that I've done in the past that I would love to share with you all. But I am wishing you the very best school year. Good luck to you. I hope that you have a wonderful school year filled with brilliant students and students that are excited about learning, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.